All right. So, anybody remember the name of the pigment that is used in photosynthesis? If you look on your notes, it's the second page. We talked about it in the second on the second page in the second box where it says photosynthesis. And when we were writing things next to that, we talked about a specific pigment. Andrew, I didn't even see you. I'm sorry, I counted you absent, but I will get that corrected. I'm just blind. I'm sorry. I didn't see you come in. My fault. Remind me, I'm gonna let you do it. No, I'm gonna let you leave a few minutes early. Remind me you can take this, okay? Um, Anybody find it? It's in the chloroplast, and it also happens to start with C. Nobody can find it on their notes? Chlorophyll, thank you. Chlorophyll, and it's in a specific part. It's in a specific part of the chloroplast, and we label that on this diagram. It's what's one of those little single discs are called. All right, well, that's going to be up to y'all to find out because it's there in your notes. And if y'all don't want to find it, then it must not be incredibly important to you. So if you'll get your notes out, we're going to move to those and fill out just a little bit. We have a quiz on Friday, and it's going to be writing the chemical equation for photosynthesis. Jalen, please bring me your phone, sir. No, I'm not doing that. Please bring it to me. I'm not going to do it all day. Either bring me your phone or take all your stuff and go down to student services. Those are going to be your two choices. I'm going to give you your phone at the end whenever you turn everything in. So tell me which one you want to do. I'm sorry? No, that's not a choice. Go ahead and get your stuff and go on out, please. All right. So we're going to have a quiz on Friday over, there's going to be two chemical equations, photosynthesis, which we've already covered, and I'll show it to y'all again today, and then cellular respiration, which we'll cover on Thursday. And so that's what the worksheet is, or the paper is for your practice on that. All right. So if we go into 8th period into our notes. Let me get you some paper notes. Here's the paper notes. Where do I do it? All right, we're going to label this little diagram here with for photosynthesis. So we kind of already talked about these in words already. So the first stage is in the thylakoid, where if you would have looked in your notes a little bit better, you would have seen that was where the chlorophyll is. The thylakoid is located in the chloroplast. So this is going to be our first stage where water is taken in along with sunlight. Number 2 is chlorophyll and enzymes. The water is split because the reaction needs the hydrogen. And all of this is the light dependent reaction. I just put DEP and then RX for reaction. Number on these 1, 2, 3s. Okay, number 1 is sunlight. Tell me if you need me to spell any of them. Number 2 is chlorophyll. That's that green pigment. And number 3 is enzymes. So the water is split because this reaction needs a hydrogen to carry some electrons. So what is released and doesn't continue on is the oxygen gas. And that's why we get along so well with plants. They release oxygen, we need oxygen. We release CO2, they need CO2. So out of that, some ATP, which is for energy, is produced. And I'm going to make this down here because I can't write that small. NADPH plus H plus ions. H plus ions means it's lost an electron. And those are the electron carriers. In the second stage, which is going to be the light independent, that takes place still in the chloroplast. It's in the stroma of the chloroplast. And here CO2 is brought in. This is the light independent reaction. So this part, we don't have to have the sunlight. We've already used the energy from the sunlight. So that CO2 is brought in and combined with the other things that were my products right here to produce C6H12O6, which is glucose, which is a sugar. It's a type of food, and it actually goes into the carbohydrate category. CARBOHYDRATES. So we had kind of gone through all of that already in words, and this is just put it into a little diagram maybe that'll help you memorize it a little bit easier. So down on the bottom of that page, we're going to write the chemical equations that you're going to need to know. We'll practice them in a little bit. You'll write them 5 times each, and then you'll have a quiz on Friday. So let me know when everybody gets this. All right. All right, so these are the chemical reactions that you're going to need to memorize. The first one is for photosynthesis, PS. And that's whenever you take in water, and you have to have 6 molecules of water plus 6 molecules of CO2. Excuse me, and some light energy that would be from the sun. And also, this is the part of the reaction that you need the chlorophyll. Because chlorophyll is a pigment that absorbs energy from the sun. And this ends up giving you 1 molecule of glucose plus 6 molecules of oxygen. O2 is oxygen gas. And then for cellular respiration, they're very related. So my product of photosynthesis becomes my reactants for cellular respiration. So I'm going to start with my glucose. And my 6 oxygen molecules. And this is going to take some enzymes. That's spelled ENZYMES. And that breaks it down into 6 molecules of water plus 6 molecules of CO2 plus 36 molecules of ATP, which is the whole purpose of this, to get that energy. And then also some is given off just as heat. So this PS and this CR, those are not part of the equation. It's just telling you this is the equation for photosynthesis. The second one is the equation for cellular respiration. So those you'll need to memorize and have those ready for the quiz on Friday. And I think we're just here a little short time on Friday. All right, so we're going to wait to finish up our cellular respiration notes. So if you take out your power notes, it's kind of just going through the process of photosynthesis again. So we're going to fill those out. All right. All right, so if we look here at our power notes, make it a little bit bigger. All right, we're going to start at the top with the definition of photosynthesis, which is the process by which light energy is used to make glucose. That stores chemical energy. So this is supposed to represent a chloroplast. So when we start off up here, number 2, that's supposed to be your sunlight coming in. And that little disc is the thylakoid. And we said it contains chlorophyll. Without that green pigment, the chloroplast could not absorb could not absorb the light energy it needs for that process. So number 2, 3, and 7, those are our reactants that go in. So that's our reactants that go in. So these little molecules are your water. And that splits. And also we needed CO2. That was another one of our reactants, and that's from the air. So all of that, sunlight, water, you need 6 molecules of water, 6 molecules of CO2. They all go to that thylakoid. And where the energy is, the water is split. And over here, they end up as one of our products, oxygen, O2. This is where we would have our ATP and our NADPH plus my H plus ion. And those two things, that NADPH plus my H plus, those are energy carrying molecules. And then that goes into the second part. So that would be our light independent reaction, and that's happening in the stroma. Now to all that, we said that we get oxygen, and then this ringed substance is kind of hard to see. That's our glucose. So that's our C6H12O6, which is our glucose. And then that glucose and that oxygen, when we start talking about cellular respiration, it'll then go in and be broken down to produce a lot more ATP. Does anybody need me to repeat any of that, or y'all got it? I'll leave it up there just for another minute. Andrew, what's your ID number, please? All right, everybody got this one? All right, so if we go down, then we just need the box, which we've already done this, but we'll write it here again. This is our photosynthesis equation, one of the ones you're going to need to memorize. So you have C6O2 plus 6H2O. And this is the one that we need light and chlorophyll. To give us C6H12O6 plus 6 oxygen molecules, O2 molecules in the form of gas. So far, it looks like you're going to have your EOC in May. Still have to take that test. And they asked quite a few questions over photosynthesis and cellular respiration. All right, so add your power notes to your notes. And then on the sheet of paper, you're going to practice writing your equation for photosynthesis 5 times, and then your equation for cellular respiration 5 times on your piece of notebook paper. And y'all have both of those equations back in your notes. We wrote them at that bottom of that diagram. And then if you'll turn those in for a grade. Hayden, you need to turn your camera on. Okay, Kaden, you came in late, so you missed some stuff. You'll need to go and watch the video to catch up with that. We did a little bit of notes. We filled in these power notes. So today I went ahead and let you in, but just like if you're tardy at school past 10 minutes, if you're come 10 minutes, you won't be able to come in. I'm going to go